Call me Susan, pop me in a smokehouse, slap me on a bit of buttery toast. This is strawberry jam on a campfire. Welcome to my series on jams and preserves, where we use the best seasonal local ingredients and use sugar to preserve it for an epic tasting treat. From homemade marmalades to poisonous plants, even using smoke and flames to cook jam over an open fire. This series takes the best local seasonal vegetables and fruits and turns them into an amazing preserve that can be enjoyed all year round. There's recipes here for every season, and we also use lacto fermentation in some of our recipes to give your flavour a real punch. So let's cook some tasty jam. Okay, so I woke up this morning thinking to myself, can you make jam on a barbecue? And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I really love jam. And this year, weirdly, I've had a late harvest of strawberries in the garden. So I'm gonna make some strawberry jam. I know a load of you this time of year are making blackberry jam because they're all over the place. But I've got loads of strawberries. I'm gonna do strawberry jam on a barbecue, and we're gonna see if we can taste the fire and the smoke in the jam and how that tastes. I mean, it's gotta taste good, right? With like loads of butter, smoky strawberry jam on a nice piece of toast. Join me on the journey. Here we go, strawberry jam on a barbecue. So first off, I'm gonna grab my barbecue that I picked up from Asda the other day for £4.49 in their summer get rid of their stock kind of deal. And I'm gonna load my barbecue up with some old Christmas tree and some old wood from around the garden. I'm using blackberry brambles and a nice chunky log that will hopefully hold his heat to help cook the jam. My son is shooting me with Nerf bullets as I'm trying to do this video, which is a little bit distracting. When you haven't got a lighter, you have to get from the kitchen to the end of the garden with a birthday candle and a jam jar. Nerve-wrackingly trying to keep the candle alight while my son appears with a baseball bat behind me. Did it? Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Now the barbecue is alight, it's time to get some more fuel on there and keep the flames burning to get the heat into those large logs so I can cook my strawberry jam. Fingers crossed.
Stick it over there, mate. Chuck on the fire. Don't be dry one, don't be that bit of a leak. That's fine, mate. It's okay. This should do. Okay, so while the fire's cooking down and we get some heat into that wood, I've got no charcoal bricks, so I'm hoping the wood will hold enough heat to get enough heat into the jam to get it rapidly boiling. Fingers crossed. Okay, like I said, I got a good harvest of strawberries this year from the garden. Got some strawberry boxes up there and some in the greenhouse. So I'm just gonna cut these down. I've got about 400 grams of strawberries here. So with this, I am gonna add 400 grams, equal quantities of jam sugar. There's already got pectin in. Strawberry jam does need pectin. That's going in with the strawberries, and then we're going to cook those down over the fire. Hopefully get some of that flame, some of that smoke into the flavour of the jam, and then see how that tastes once it's set. As I've got no charcoal to hold the heat, I'm really getting that fire burning to keep the heat inside the wood. Next, I've grabbed my oldest pan because it's obviously going to get a bit of soot damage from the barbecue, and I've got my strawberries here to go into the pan. Flicking open my faithful knife that I take everywhere, I'm just going to take the stem of the strawberries off and cut them in half. I don't want the strawberry too small because I want it to kind of hold its shape when it cooks, so some nice pieces of strawberry in the jam when we're finished. When you're taking the stem of the strawberry off, try not to lose too much of the strawberry, just nip it just underneath the green so you keep as much strawberry as possible for your jam and don't waste any fruit. I'm just thinking I've got stacks of rhubarb as well, so I'm going to pull up one of the stems of this and just pop that in there as well. Should help with the pectin content. So I've got loads of rhubarb, so I'm going to pull one of these up. Nice little twist at the root. Pull that out. With my knife. Trim the leaf off. As I said before, the leaves go back in with the rhubarb. You can't put these in a compost heap because they're poisonous. Check out my rhubarb jam video for that information. And as it's quite old in the season, I'm just going to take off some of these
strangly bits so it doesn't get too stringy in the jam. Oh, too much. Strawberry and rhubarb, a classic in the flavour world. You can see it's starting to get a little bit stringy in this season now. But that will cook down in the jam. Old Christmas tree is still tucked away in the corner from last December. Never got rid of it, but the pine needles give you a great smoke and a great flavour. So it's also a great way to use up my Christmas tree before we get to Christmas, which scarily is probably just around the corner. Okay, so I've now just added 100 grams of rhubarb from the garden into the jam. So for this, I'm going to add 500 grams of the caster sugar with the pectin into the jam. So that gives me equal quantities of fruit and sugar with the pectin already in the sugar to help make the jam. And now I'm just going to get a final bit of heat into the fire and then move the logs around ready to put the jam pan on top. Get it nice and level so it's nice and safe and it doesn't spill over. And you can see the wood looks very similar to charcoal now. It's holding loads of heat in that white ash and it's nice and flat, ready for the top to go on. And I'm going to add the pan of jam. A final blow, puff of oxygen, and then we're going to grab the racking that goes on top of the barbecue to help level out the logs. And of course, for this recipe, you don't need to do it on a barbecue or a fire. You can do it in your house. Equal quantities of sugar and fruit and the pectin, and just bubble it up in your house on a stove. But of course, if you want to do it this way, you can do, and we can find out the results together. Now I'm just going to gently move the fruit and the sugar around as it heats up to help the juices come out of the fruit and help dissolve the sugar. And the more I cook outside, the more I enjoy it. The smells of the fire, the fruit, the sugar, they're all very intoxicating. Okay, so while the jam is ticking away, let's run through some things with jam that you might need to know. If your jam turns cloudy when you're making it, sorry for the smoky eyes, if the jam turns cloudy when you're making it, it means the fruit was either not very good or was unwashed before you started using it, and that's the reason for cloudy jam. Now, if your jam crystallizes when you make it, and you'll know when it's crystallized, you get big crystals and chunks of sugar in it, that basically means the jam has boiled before the sugars had time to dissolve. So to rectify that, and it can be fixed, you can reboil the jam with a little bit of water or alcohol, which is even nicer, a little bit of brandy, a little bit of whiskey, pop that in the jam, reboil it, and that should sort out the crystallized jam problem. Or a little splash of water if you don't do alcohol. Okay, the jam is starting to boil up now nicely, sugar's dissolved, so there shouldn't be any crystallization. Let's have a look. You need to go and watch Lincoln at Fish Disco. I got the inspiration for my wooden spoon off him stirring his polenta in his last video. Thought I need to get myself one of those little teeny tiny wooden spoons. And here it is. Right, nice. You can see the liquid coming out. Sugar has dissolved. Hopefully there's enough fire, enough heat in the fire to get this jam boiling away. Okay, I'm going to pop a little bit of a vanilla paste in there. This is a cheaper version. This is a cheaper version or a cheaper alternative. Oh, my bloody spoon doesn't fit. Literally, when will I learn? Okay, turn around. I think that's like the third time I've done that. A couple of teaspoons of vanilla paste in there, not too much. Now, as I'm making this, I'm getting, the smoke always goes in your eyes, or no matter where you go. Now, as I'm making this, I'm getting more and more excited to taste it because, nice one smoke. As I'm making it, I'm getting more and more excited to taste it because the more I think about it, before gas and electric, everything was cooked over fire. So jam, traditionally, back in the Victorian times, must have been done over fire. So realistically, these days, we haven't really got a taste of how jam originally tasted. So I'm pretty excited. I think, you know, it was always cooked over fire. It was done to preserve the fruit. Sugar was used as a preservative, and when it had masses of fruit, when it was in season, it was turned into jam to preserve it for times when it wasn't in season. So it was cooked on fire, so it's going to taste how it did back in the days before gas and electric, and that's exciting. Okay, we're getting a nice boil on that. Temperature's coming up nice and high. I've made jam lots, so I kind of know what stage I'm looking for. I can kind of tell by the glaze on the bubbles. If you're at home, you can put the jam on a cold saucer, put it in the fridge for a couple of minutes, and then see how it sets. And if you're using a sugar thermometer or a digital thermometer, you want to take it to about 105 C. That is the same for most jams or marmalades. Now this, you can see the bubbles have changed. I believe it's ready to go. So let's get it in the jar.
The pan and handle are obviously ripping hot, so make sure you use a cloth, stay safe, and don't splash yourself when you're doing this. And I've got my cool, clean, sterilised jar that I picked up for about £1 from Home Bargains. Nice little wooden spoon on the side. Get the jam, and now we're going to carefully pour that into the jar. And I'll stop talking for a second and watch the jam in action. And as I'm doing this, the steam from the jam and the smoke from the barbecue are still intermingling. So hopefully that extra smoke flavour is going to go into the jam at every opportunity. And look at that, steaming hot, smoky jam.
Amazingly, out of that 500 gram batch of strawberries and 500 grams of jam sugar, I've got enough for 2 jars. It smells amazing, the colour's amazing. You can smell the smoke in the jam, so I'm really excited about the flavour coming through. It's really hard not to dive into it straight away, but we're going to get it in the fridge overnight, give it a good setting, and strawberry jam on toast in the morning. Chef jam tip number 3, if your strawberry jam or any jam is still liquid next day, then it basically just hasn't boiled enough, or there wasn't enough pectin in the jam to start with. To fix this, you can reboil the jam, add a little bit of liquid pectin, a little bit of lemon juice, and that should fix the problem. Let it set for a second time, and it should be good, quids in. Remember, it's very hot.
And fourth and final tip for this video, I normally add a little knob of butter into my strawberry jam, normally just strawberry jam to be fair. I find it adds a little bit more flavour and a little bit more richness. Oh, do you want to know how it looked after it was set? 24 hours in the fridge and it looked like this. For me, that's a perfect finish. Not too set, not too liquidy, just right. Nicely holds the fruit within the jelly. Let's bang it on some toast.
Okay, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was useful to you. Any jamming questions? There's not much I don't know about jam, I don't think. You might stump me in the comments, but if you've got any jam questions, drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. As always, hit that like button, support the channel. We've hit 2,000 subscribers, 2,100 I think. Super pleased, super happy. Thank you for your support, it means the world to me. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Tasty Gary Bites.